So, there's a leaked Acolyte trailer that declares this isn't about good or bad, it's about power and who's allowed to use it. So, let's get into this by bounding into comics. I do have some thoughts on this, so yeah, let's get into it. The leaked trailer to The Acolyte, which appears to be from Star Wars Celebration in April, features a line of dialogue that declares this isn't about good or bad, it's about power and who's allowed to use it. Well, the trailer was recently uploaded to Star Wars subreddit. There it is, but I'm not going to play it. This is a leak, or that's leaked footage, so I don't want my channel struck. As you can, or I have watched it, by the way. As you can see above, it features a Jedi Master teaching a number of younglings about the Force, telling them, your eyes can deceive you, you must not trust them. The Force is powerful. It is a power we must respect. This explanation is bizarre, given how Yoda, who is still alive during that era, and seemingly a prominent figure in the Jedi Order, at the time this show is supposed to take place, had a very different view of the Force as he related to Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. If you recall, Yoda told Luke, for my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you. Here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes, even between the land and the ship. Clearly, Yoda viewed the Force as an ally, and seemingly something he put his complete trust in, which this Jedi Master appears to be instructing his students to avoid doing. Now, before I go any further, I am aware that there is a class system in the Jedi Order. There were Guardians, there were Sentinels, and there were Consulars. Consulars, Yoda falls into. He is a very powerful wielder of the Force and chooses mostly to use the Force and expand on the Force, calls on the Force a lot. Guardians, they actually do see the Force as more of a power to be used, as well as to enhance their physical prowess in battle and combat. Sentinels use the Force for stealth infiltration, as well as there are more balanced between Guardians and Consulars, where they do focus on Force use, they also focus on physical prowess. They sort of mend them together. So this Jedi Master is most likely a Guardian teaching his students his own take on the Force, if that is indeed where it is going. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that there are some in the Jedi Order who would view it that way. Now, I'm not defending this show. Disney screws up a lot of things when it comes to Star Wars. However, that is not something that is beyond the scope. So let's continue. As the trailer continues, some kind of assassin figure attacks what appears to be a female Jedi in a bar, similar to how Ezra Bridger did not use a lightsaber in the most recent episode of Ahsoka. This female Jedi does not use her lightsaber, but uses a number of martial arts techniques and the Force to fend off a female assassin. And that's nothing new, because, believe it or not, a Jedi does not always pull their blade in order to solve a physical attack problem. If somebody's coming after them, they can use all sorts of different methods. Look at how Obi-Wan handled Jango Fett in Episode 2. He didn't always use his lightsaber. Yes, he was deflecting using his lightsaber, but he also got up close and personal with Jango to fight hand-to-hand. It's not outside of the realm of possibility, folks. The trailer then features a montage of scenes, Jedi marching through a town, Master is instructing younglings, and the Jedi appears to be interfacing with Trade Federation officials. This is interesting because I do believe that the Trade Federation was not established during the time of this movie, or show, or whatever, but we will see it as it goes through. I will not be reviewing this, however I will watch it out of curiosity. Following the brief montage, a character is shown climbing the face of what appears to be some kind of temple. There are then a number of scenes which appear to be inside the temple. In one of them, a female force wielder launches what appears to be a force attack on a man. However, this scene cuts before we see the results of the attack. The scene cuts to a pair of Jedi exploring some kind of cave. One of them draws a lightsaber, indicating there might be some danger imminent. We never see what it could be, or what it is or could be. Next, we see another montage, including a Jedi using the Force to open a door and to peek around a corner, 3 Jedi appearing to confront someone, a woman walking through a crowd of other women, and then it then returns to the battle in a bar with the female Jedi as she uses the Force to stop the assassin's blade in its tracks. As the clip transitions to a scene, a woman states, "This isn't about good or bad, this is about power and who is allowed to use it." The clip then shows a number of scenes when a man walking through a snowy covered ravine, some of the alien females wielding like a spear-like weapon, and an assassin walking in to the open down a street. It concludes with a number of Jedi lighting up their lightsabers, standing at the ready. Now, the line of dialogue in the trailer appears to confirm showrunner Leslie Headland's assertion to the Empire that the series will have heavy emphasis on current-day politics. It's more likely the series will provide a heavy dose of intersectional feminist theory in the guise of Star Wars. Now, to be completely fair, folks, one of the very big differences between Jedi philosophy and Sith philosophy, for those of you who may or may not be aware, the Sith Code talks about power. And one of the lines of the Sith Code is, "Through power I gain strength. Through strength I gain victory," and so on and so forth. So it's not about good or bad. That also is something that Palpatine was about. He even challenges Anakin, what is good or evil? It is subjective. So that's not too much of a stretch either. It's about power and who is allowed to use it. The Sith have always relied on their passions for strength. And they also feel a sense of superiority over everyone else. So, there is that. Now, am I saying that that is exactly what they mean in the show? No. I am simply saying that it could indeed be what they mean. However, we have seen that there is a lot of intersectional feminist theory in Star Wars. They also do have identity politics and whatnot. So yes, they do a good job at keeping it subtle in some areas, not so much subtle in others. Headland told Empire, when you are doing something completely original like we are, you want to question the status quo of the era that you live in. She continued, what I think is so interesting right now is that everybody thinks they're right. The Jedi really think they're right, and George Lucas tells us that they're wrong in in the Phantom Menace. They miss a huge aspect of the dark side rising. That just felt like a fertile ground to look into what's going on for all of us right now. And that is a mistake for Headland to do, is to introduce real-world concepts and earthly concepts into the galaxy far, far away. Yes, there are earthly concepts in Star Wars. However, they are changed in different ways in order to fit a different narrative. George Lucas wanted to present a narrative that is away from our reality. He took inspiration from historical events, yes. However, he made them in a way that is not reflective of our current reality. Despite what a lot of fans think about the prequels, it was not a reflection of George Bush era politics. It was actually very much a reflection on Nazi era politics, where Hitler came to power by dismantling the German government and instituting the Nazi Party, taking inspiration from the past in order to tell this story. Not only did Headland confirm the show will be commentary on current American society, culture, and politics, but she seemed to imply a focus of the show being on female villains or self-inserts. Well, I was a young queer girl, or when I was a young queer girl, are you saying that you're not now? I was just hanging out with Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid. She told the outlet, as a queer girl growing up, if you don't identify with the heroes, then the villains show up and they're all queer-coded. No, they're really not. And it's not my fault. Or you're like, yes, that's me. It seems that Leslie Headland doesn't understand how to identify with somebody more than just their sexual orientation or their gender. A good example of me, folks, I identify with the main cast of the original trilogy, including Lando Calrissian, including Leia Organa, including the droids and the Wookiees. I identify with all of them in different ways. It's because of their personalities and their morals and their sense of purpose that I can identify with. Headland added, as a queer filmmaker, you're going to see some camp, inevitably, but I would say that tonally, our references are darker. Well, this is supposed to be the rise of the Sith. Back in June 2021, Headland confirmed the series would be female-centric during an interview with YouTuber Fantastic Frankie. Just because my show is technically, yes, female-centric, meaning it centers around female protagonists, I don't think that necessarily excludes men from that space. Smart way of saying it, but, you know. Headland would go on to explain, listen, I relate to male characters all the time. Look, I root for Mando. I root for Luke. I like deeply, well, not sure how much I care about Han Solo anymore, when I was little, I really liked him. When I watch him now, I'm kind of like, gosh, a lot of my psyche makes sense now. Okay. All joking aside, I think that an inclusive space means an inclusive space. Well, here's the thing. Star Wars has always been inclusive. Regardless of her limited and held back and hindered mindset, Star Wars has always featured people of different ethnicities. Star Wars used a lot of people who were of different ethnicities as extras. So yes, those people existed even though they were extras. That doesn't stop the fact that they didn't exist. As well as different species of aliens and stuff. Some who were, in fact, non-binary species. Who were not considered male or female. They also had languages that were non-gendered, like the Mandalorian language. So these people like Leslie trying to push all this stuff saying that Star Wars didn't have it until they did it, they're wrong. There were gay Mandalorians. A lot of the clone troopers were bisexual. This is stuff that they didn't really look into because that defeated their narrative. All joking aside, female practice doesn't mean it's only meant for women. So she went on to describe the series as a tent rival. I kind of see it like Star Wars is a religion. It's not. Which I think we kind of agreed for the purpose of this interview, it is. I like to think of my show as a tent rival, or tent revival, sorry. You can come over if you want to. We are going to be talking about some cool stuff. There's going to be some things we haven't discussed in canon yet, and there are going to be some characters you don't know about. I would love you to join us, yada yada yada. The official description of the series, The Acolyte, is a mystery thriller that will take the viewers into the galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers. In the final days of the High Republic era, a former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they have ever anticipated. No official release has been announced for the series. What do you make of this leaked trailer for The Acolyte? Again, it sells an interest point. There's minor interest, I will admit that. However, there are there is the possibility that they will become more overt with their identity politics. I'm not saying that they will or won't. I'm saying it's a possibility. Me, personally, I don't give two shits about Disney Star Wars. I don't acknowledge it as canon. Anything that they do create, it's just for people who do see it as such. I'm not going to say that they can't. Everybody is allowed their opinion, and everybody is allowed to like whatever they want to like. I'm not going to hold that against them, nor am I going to say that they are wrong in doing so. However, I am going to say that I do prefer George Lucas's era Star Wars, including the books and the EU that he approved of before Disney's buyout. Those are the stories, with small exceptions to some of the stories that have Filoni's taint in them, such as The Fate of the Jedi and Darth Plagueis. I consider Darth Plagueis about 80% canon because Darth Maul is a Dathomiri Zabrak, unfortunately, in that book, where in fact he's actually an Iridonian Zabrak, and was found on Iridonia originally, before Palpatine raised him to be a weapon for the Sith. Anyway, folks, there is, or just to be clear, there always has been different philosophies of different Jedi Masters throughout the years, including when Yoda was alive. And yes, Yoda was the Grand Master of the Jedi Order early on. I believe he was like 300 or 400 when he became the Jedi Master, or the Grand Master of the Jedi Order. And yes, other Jedi had different takes on the Force. Count Dooku thought that, well, the Force could be used in a myriad of ways. Even Qui-Gon Jinn felt that the Jedi Council was too interested in the Cosmic Force or the Unified Force, and instead focused on the Living Force. There are different aspects of the Jedi Order and different castes to the Jedi and classes in which they have different set beliefs. However, they all do believe that the Force is also an ally. We don't know the full saying of what that Jedi Master was saying because we only got a taste of what they are doing, which is the purpose of a teaser and trailer. So, yeah. If it does focus on identity politics, believe me, I will let you all know. Yes, it does. I won't do it in a review. I don't believe in reviewing any of the stuff anymore because, well, it's very divisive, and I honestly just don't care about Star Wars anymore. I care about George Lucas era stuff, yes, but not the stuff that is what Disney is doing. When it comes to the Sith, they were hidden completely. They didn't engage the Jedi. So this premise of the Acolyte, where they are trying to, or where if they have any sort of interaction with the Jedi Order, this show automatically receives a 0 score. Unless they in fact do kill those Jedi before they can report to the High Council. Anyway, folks, that is going to be the video. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that the Acolyte will be any good, or do you think that they will inevitably screw it up with their identity politics? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks. This is Orange Hat. Y'all have a wonderful day. Stay humble.